Houston Astros are the 1996 World Series champions. It's our 5th World Series title in 15 seasons total, and now we enter the offseason set to lose several key players. This video is going to cover our retooling effort so we can go back-to-back for the first time in 1997. We'll go through the 1996 season awards, personnel changes, both drafts, Hall of Fame, and early free agency. But let's start with our owner. Love how my owner gets on me about not getting an MVP winner. We have Barry Bonds. He has 6 MVP awards. Overall, he's pretty happy though. Got a couple needs. I'm not going to upgrade at center field. Andrew Jones will develop. John Wetland is re-signable potentially. Certainly go for more championships. Let's move on to awards. A couple of my former Rangers won Gold Gloves, Steve Avery and Manny Romero. Jose Hernandez won his 3rd Gold Glove in the American League at shortstop. No Astros won Gold Gloves this year. Former Astro and JT Brewitt won his 2nd in left field. Pedro Guerrero, the old man, wins one at 40, and then Paul Molitor's got his 5th at first base. Mariano Rivera goes back-to-back for Fireman of the Year in the American League. It was unanimous. Mark Wohlers made it 3 straight Fireman of the Year awards in the National League. Houston Astro John Wetland finished 4th. Jeff Kent and Danny Tartable both win their 5th career Silver Sluggers in the American League. The Astros don't have a Silver Slugger award either, although Tommy Green, who spent half the season for us, won it as a pitcher. Gary Sheffield won his 8th, and then Jim Thome and Pedro Guerrero won their 5th each. Sean Casey wins the Rookie of the Year award in the American League for the Twins, and a pair of Tigers back him up. They have a promising future ahead. Shannon Stewart wins the National League Rookie of the Year. Matt Morris finished 5th. The Mets are another young team on the upswing. And hey, we won something. Greg Sims wins Manager of the Year award. And with that World Series win comes better reputation. He wants some more control over things. 2 of my draft picks from the Rangers era go 1-2 in the American League Cy Young Award race. Dave Fleming wins his 1st, and Steve Avery takes 2nd. Pedro Martinez easily wins his 2nd Cy Young Award, and now he's a free agent. See where he ends up. Mike Schooler ended up in 5th for us, and Tommy Green, who we traded to get Mike Schooler, finished 8th. Jeff Kent gets another MVP in the American League. Really spread out votes. Lots of guys in the action here. Jim Thome wins his 3rd MVP award in the National League, got all but 1 vote. Barry Bonds finished 11th in the race. He missed several weeks with an injury early in the season. Pedro Guerrero, the 40-year-old, finished 16th. And a few retirements now. Wade Boggs, part of my 1984 World Series Padre team. Strong performer, but we probably won't see him in Cooperstown. And Glenn Mother Hubbard, also part of my 1984 Padres team. Handful of Gold Glove awards and a World Series ring. Well done. And unfortunately, nobody made the Hall of Fame this year. Raleigh Fingers and Ted Simmons might get there in future seasons. And still early for Gary Carter. Bob Knepper got 9% of the vote. I had him for half of my first season with the Rangers. Rupert Jones dropped out. I had him on the Padres when I started this save. So on to the off-season we go. We have a lot of openings to fill, especially in the minors, so let's get to work. Now, our manager retained control over bench coach hiring, but thankfully I think he got the decision right. Miguel Pulido, former A's manager, has pretty good all-around ratings. He's got nice relationships with my squad, excellent relationship with Chris Hoyles. We'll have to keep an eye on Greg Jeffries and Jerome Walton. And then our trainer retired. And our new trainer that I've hired seems to specialize with pitchers. He's outstanding at rehabbing arm injuries, and he's legendary at preventing them. It might be backwards from what I need, though. I'm much deeper in my pitching staff than I am with my position players. And we've gotten all our minor league openings filled as well. Speaking of new minor league openings, a new feature I'm happy to reveal to my public subscribers. You are all now coaches in this save. I added you all at the beginning of the offseason, and 3 of you got jobs. Congratulations to the Dougs, Bafusilier, and Joseph. Please make us proud. We'll keep an eye on your progress in future videos. So I recently got some great tips on how to better do my off-season, and I've made some changes to the schedule. The draft is going to happen before free agency, That does two things. It fixes the type AB compensation so that it lasts the entire calendar cycle as opposed to expiring after just a month. And it reduces a back-end issue where a bunch of players skip the draft and sign straight with indie ball teams. So I'm excited to see how this works. We've got some arbitration decisions to make. So we've decided to extend Shane Reynolds, Don Strange, and Ron Way, just one-year deals. We're going to non-tender David Grimes and Jeff Manto. The David Grimes one might be a mistake. He had a really good season, though it wasn't FIP supported. We offered arbitration to Mike Schooler, to Gabby Rodriguez, and to Daryl Sherman. They all declined and become free agents. We also lose Brian Harvey and Edgar Martinez for nothing. So to recap, we've lost our ace starting pitcher, our closer, a key left-handed bullpen arm, our starting right fielder, and our best pinch hitter, including our World Series MVP. So we have a lot of work to do to get this team retooled. But first, baseball looks to its future with the first-year player draft. The Rockies have the first pick. In this bunch, it's a strong draft, especially with position players. The Rockies take J.D. Drew first. He could put up some sick numbers in high altitude. The Mets take Johan Santana, number 2, where his career ended in real life, so they've got another young starting pitching arm in their arsenal. The Blue Jays take Roy Oswalt. The Marlins grab Marcus Giles, who my scout thinks is going to be unbelievable. Lance Berkman, another generational hitter, goes to Boston. Skipping to the 9th pick, Jason Worth finds himself back at home with the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's a quick recap of the first 26 picks. The Astros pick 27th, and we've got some options. Aaron Cook is a good starting pitching option. He's a pretty low ceiling. He's great for the Astrodome with those high control and movement potential ratings. Question is, will we still be in the Astrodome when he's ready? Corey Aldridge is an interesting outfielder profile. Looks like he could be a good bat down the road. Problem is, he's impossible to sign. Very risky for a first-round pick. Tariq Graham has a really cool leadoff hitter profile. Look at that contact and eye ratings. That could be something in the Astrodome. The challenge is OSA is not convinced. Are they right, or is my scout right? And there's a relief pitcher in the mix. Ricardo Rincon is ready to dominate on day 1 coming from the Mexican League. But a reliever in the first round? Yes, a reliever in the first round. I couldn't contain myself. He's too good, and he's ready right now. And he fits my need for a left-handed setup man with the loss of Gabby Rodriguez. So get in here, Ricardo Rincon. Good news and bad news for the second round. Aaron Cook was still available, and I took him. After I took him, my scout soured some. I chose not to sign him and take a second-round pick for next year. In the third round, Tariq Graham was still sitting there. That was an easy choice at this point. Corey Aldridge was still there in the 4th, so I took a flyer thinking I could get draft compensation if I didn't re-sign him. And it turns out you only get compensation for your first 3 picks, so oops on me, just blew my 4th-round pick. Jesus Pisabe is my 5th-round pick, looking for some more outfield depth. I went starting pitcher in the 6th round, also not a special pitcher, but he's got a nice work ethic intelligence combo that might help boost his chances of being something. And we grab one more starter in Chris Lambert in the 7th round. Here's our overall draft class. We ended up signing 29 of our 40 picks. And as all of this preseason activity was happening, apparently my owner got bored. And he decided to go out and re-sign Edgar Martinez. Now, I love Edgar Martinez. He's a great player for me. He won the World Series MVP. But that's a lot of money there, and I don't have a position for him for a full season. I think I'm going to have to train him at first base and make him the platoon partner with Chad Townsend. The real unfortunate part about this is that Edgar Martinez money could have gone toward a right fielder, like Bernard Gilkey or Jeremy Burnitz, Daryl Sherman, Orlando Merced, Derek Bell. It's a great right fielder class. Or, even better, Pedro Martinez. It's a very good free agent class for pitchers too, and now I have $1.8 million less to spend on it. So what is the money situation? In the American League, the Yankees, the Tigers, the Red Sox, and the Angels all have a lot of money to spend. And there's a lot of money floating around the National League as well. The Rockies and the Marlins actually have the most. We have just about $4 million to play with now, so we can't afford a superstar, probably 1 to 2 good players. As for our pitching needs, an ace starter to replace Mike Schooler would be really nice, or another co-ace bullpen arm to replace Brian Harvey. The good news is we have tons of depth, at least for now. Shane Reynolds and Edgardo Vasquez are free agents after this season, and Pete Harnisch is a free agent after next season. We could really use a pair of outfielders, especially for right field. First base could be an upgrade area. Townsend and Martinez, once he's trained, should be fine there if I can't get anything done though. We got only a week into free agency and our owner struck again. Edgardo Vasquez was going to be a free agent after this season. Our owner gave him $2.7 million with a 3-year extension, and frankly, that's too much. This doesn't hurt our ability to sign any free agents this year, but it does handicap us for the next 3 years. Let's get to some of the early signings from the other teams. The Red Sox get things rolling early with Dean Palmer. He can play first or third base, and they need both, so they've got nice flexibility. They signed him for 8 years. And our former ace, Mike Schooler, goes to Florida on a 4-year deal. They finally had the money, and that's a huge splash. Frankly, they have too many holes to be pouring all their money into one pitcher. The Phillies re-signed John Smoltz. He was awful for them last year, so I'm somewhat surprised. But maybe they have him earmarked for the bullpen? The other recent expansion team, the Rockies, made a splash too, going out and signing Jose Hernandez to be their starting shortstop. Miguel Tejada is there right now, so I suppose that pushes him to second base. Tim Wakefield is a Yankee, how about that? The Yankees have a nice rotation and he provides some good depth. Chili Davis heads to the Anaheim Angels, no longer the California Angels. He fills a key need for them at catcher, at least for now. He's getting up there in years, and he signed for a 3-year deal. And the Tigers make probably the worst signing of the offseason so far in Fernando Valenzuela. He is getting up there in years. He's going to miss half this season. Despite being a future Hall of Famer, this is an overpay. The Phillies go back to the well and start stockpiling starting pitchers. This time it's Juan Guzman, who might also be sitting in the bullpen as they are so deep at that position. The Phillies are stockpiling pitching, but they lost their key bat, Mark McGwire. The Angels strengthened their offense even further. First Chili Davis and now Mark McGwire. And they're getting Brad Radke back this season. Looks like a dangerous team. And on top of it all, they have the #1 minor league system in baseball. No early signings for the Astros, but we did look at some trades for the winter meetings. First option is we considered moving Pete Harnisch for right fielder Kevin Grichuk. This is a no-go given how thin our starting rotation could be upcoming. What I'd really want would be to move an infielder for Grichuk, but the Pirates were simply not interested. We almost traded Greg Colburn and Stan Belinda to the Phillies. Jason Christensen's a top lefty reliever, but we just got Ricardo Rincon to fill that, so we'll take a pass on this one. There's an interesting starting pitcher swap on the table with the Giants. Edgardo Vasquez is a fly ball pitcher. John O'Donohue is a ground ball pitcher. O'Donohue might be a tad better, but I really don't like how it worked out with Mike Schooler, so let's keep Vasquez and use our big park. Bobby Higginson was available from the White Sox for just Stan Belinda and a couple low-level prospects. Higginson's recovering from a serious knee injury, and we're going to take the risk. Bobby Higginson is our new starting right fielder. He's got a great bat, plays both corner outfield positions. Just need to hope that the recovery from that meniscus injuries goes well. We lose Stan Belinda in the process, but the good news is we're trading from an area of strength. Belinda gave us 2 solid seasons and helped out with our World Series title, so thank you very much for your service, sir. We're really not afraid of losing Bobby Jones. Kelvin Barnes is a fringe prospect. You can have him. Nothing crazy available in the Rule 5 draft, but we took a few flyers. Mike Coolbaugh could be an option if Edgar Martinez doesn't take to first base fast enough. He has some positional flexibility, but he's really just a break glass option. We're unlikely to keep him. Seemed worth taking Carlos Belliard just to see what happens in spring training. He's got some high potential as a reliever. Maybe he can make some noise. And we took Creighton Gubinish. mainly in case we have a spring training injury at catcher or first base. We'll probably just end up sending him back to the Rangers. Really, all three of these players are unlikely to make our opening day roster. We lost a few players too. The Rockies took Dennis Burlingame off our hands. Lots of starting pitching depth, we're fine. Larry Carter is another starting pitcher that we weren't really afraid to lose. Sean Purdy made a few appearances with the big club over the last couple of seasons, but it's just emergency depth. It's January 1st now, and here's where the Astros stand. I'm pleased that we don't have any glaring holes. The rest of the offseason is all about finding that big upgrade, hopefully with the starting rotation or with a big closer. We have plenty of trade chips and just enough budget to get something done. There are some interesting players on the trade block, and one sticks out as a great upgrade. Mo Vaughn would be a fantastic addition for us. He is in the last year of his contract. The cost right now, couple options: Chad Townsend and Shane Reynolds, or Ray Durham and Jason Beret. They're a little too rich for me right now, but it's something to keep in mind throughout the rest of this offseason and maybe even into the season. There are also plenty of good free agents out there still. Prices on these guys should start dropping around the beginning of February, so maybe we'll pounce on the right deal. Pedro Martinez to come way down at his asking price if I'm going to have a chance. That would be amazing. Ramon Garcia has reasonable demands and some room to grow still. I'd approach him now, but by doing that, I wouldn't have enough cash to make the bigger splash should it become available. Randy Tomlin's a steady starter who just wants a minor league option deal. I've already made the offer. It's a good profile for the Astrodome, gives us some more cover. And lastly, I'm still open to bringing Brian Harvey back as well. Always welcome one of my own back into the fold, for the right price, of course. And that's the situation that's about to unfold for the rest of the 1997 offseason. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up and help others find the video. If you saw someone you think I should sign or something else you think I should do, please leave a comment. Otherwise, we'll see you on opening day.